Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we are doing a thrift with me and a thrift haul. I thought that sign at the beginning was really funny. I actually filmed this I think it's probably been about a month ago, so I feel like I barely remember what we were even looking at, but the first stop we made, which is the one that had the funny sign, was pretty close to us. They were having a bag sale. If you don't know, we buy and resell clothing online as like a side business. It's very profitable and it's kind of fun. So they were having a bag sale where you could just fill a bag for $5, but they also included like some hard goods. So they did have some hard goods there, so that's what I'm looking at here. So that was our first stop. I didn't really think that they had too many things there that I was interested in getting, but I did see a few things that I thought might be worth trying to resell, like on Etsy or something. I didn't see anything for myself, but essentially they were free because we could just put them in with the clothing because the glassware was included in the bag sale. So I thought basically for free, I can probably sell these for a few dollars. So they had a bunch of pattern books, and so I was looking at those and I realized that this one, my mom actually had that, and she actually made me that sweater when I was a kid, so it brought back all of like the feels. My mom was a very big knitter, so I had lots of like homemade knit sweaters, but so she had tons of these pattern books, so when I saw it I recognized it right away. I think she made mine in different colors. But so then we were off to some other clothing stores, but then we also made a few stops at the Salvation Armies that are kind of along that route. I love going to the Salvation Army. I will say that I feel like I don't film here as much because most of the time I feel like it's just a lot of the same stuff. I even feel like that right now, but I don't know, I don't have that many stores that I can go to and film like different things, I guess, which is why I don't make these videos as much. But I do enjoy making them. So this first little, I always film this first. It's kind of like this little glass shelf. I actually really like the shelf. It's cool. I feel like or maybe not all, but I feel like most of this stuff was probably there before. As in the last time I filmed here. I did think this mug was funny though, because I was showing it to John because he actually does run marathons, so I thought he would think that was funny. I did see this sweater shaver, which mine just broke recently, and we've been using it like on the clothing we resell sometimes. So I was saying to John we need to like go and buy another one. So I was happy to find that there. Then they have this other like white wire shelf that is close to the glass one, like when you first come in. I think they try and put like a lot of their nicer stuff here, but it's really hit or miss. I thought these blue dishes were really pretty, but I don't have any use for them. Although maybe I could have resold them, I'm not sure. Actually, John's been collecting CDs, so I have been looking through the CDs. I was gonna say, I usually look through the records, but I'm realizing that I'm in a different area of the store. So this is where they had all of the Christmas stuff in the past, but now they have a bunch of kids' toys here filling up the space. I'm assuming maybe they'll have some stuff out for Easter. I filmed this a while ago, probably the beginning of February, so I'm hoping that I can get there before Easter because I'm really on the hunt for like Easter decor, like vintage, but I never have any luck, it seems, finding it. I think I have a couple pieces, but not really that much. I like looking at the vintage linens too, because you never know when you're gonna find like a really cool pair of vintage curtains, which has definitely happened a few times to me. And also I sell vintage linens on Etsy, and it's actually one of my better sellers. Most of the ones that I have resold though are like old from like the 80s, like cartoon vibes, but I do have a big stack of linens that I just haven't posted yet. But anyway, I thought this white blanket was nice. It's like one of those, I forget what the style is called, but I didn't really have a use for it, and like I have quite a few of this exact style already, but because they tie their linens up, it's hard to, like, I don't want to untie it to check it to see if there's any like staining or rips, because that's what I'd want to check for before I bought it to sell it. I clearly just can't talk today. I don't think I've ever filmed something like so far away from when I recorded the voiceover, so forgive me. I thought that quilt was cute too, but again, I didn't have a use for it or anything. I pretty much like never thrift things for myself lately. Like, I just feel like I have everything I need. It would have to be something like special. I love this like roses blanket too. I used to have one, but the roses were pink, which like this is probably something I could resell, but online like shipping would probably be expensive. It's expensive already from Canada, so I don't know. These are like all the thoughts that I'm thinking as I'm filming this. Like, I'm debating on whether I should buy it or not to resell. I always like second guess myself. I thought that was really funny too. I always like second guess my like decisions. Like, should I do this? Is it worth it? Is this going to be a waste of money? Is this going to actually sell, or am I going to have to hold on to it for a long time and then end up donating it? And I don't know. I have this like all these thoughts going through my head while I'm looking at things. This little vintage like airplane travel kit though, I thought was so cool. So I did end up getting that. Spoiler alert, I feel like I will be able to sell that. I actually had forgot about it though until just now when I was like, oh yeah, because I haven't posted any of the stuff that I've been buying this year. It's just in a big pile. I don't know, I guess I'm just too lazy to photograph it. I have to be in like the right mood to do that, and I just haven't been. Plus, we've been working on the clothing stuff, and that takes a lot of time. But I usually do check out the like VHS section, but I feel like I'm at the point where it's hard to find VHS that I don't already have. But then they just have a big section filled with just like plates and glassware and things. Now, this is the part of the store that I feel like it's usually just all the same stuff sitting there for a long time. So I don't know. I guess if you've watched videos before where I filmed in the store, it might look familiar to you as well. I always hope that I'm gonna like find some good stuff to resell, but I just feel like I always end up seeing like the same stuff. So I don't know. Sometimes I do see things that I like for myself, but I just don't need anything. Like, I don't like having too much stuff, so I have to be like ruthless in deciding what I really actually want and like to have in my home, if that makes sense. So I just don't want to have too many like things piling up basically that I don't even have enough time to use. So anyway, I think I'm just going to speed up the footage of me looking through this stuff. And I don't know, I feel like I don't have that much commentary to say. I did really like these plates, but again, like I don't need them. Even though I like them, like I don't need them because I already have enough of that kind of stuff. But I also have a whole bunch of china like to sell online that I haven't posted yet, so I didn't want to buy more without knowing like if it was worth anything. I don't know, it's like the struggle that I'm going through every time I'm in a thrift store lately. I don't know if it's just me or like the area that I live in, but I feel like it's just getting so hard to find vintage things. And then if you do find it, like they've marked it up a lot because they know that it's vintage. But I don't know, like I had the same struggle when I worked at a thrift store too, where like not every single thing that's vintage is like worth like X amount of money. Like the people that I used to work with and for, like anything that was vintage that would come in, they'd want to mark it up like super high just because it was vintage. But it might be like some super common thing that, I don't know. Anyway, I just find it just feels really hard lately. Or I think maybe people aren't donating as many vintage things maybe because they realize that they could sell it and make more money. I don't know. Everything that I see like online for sale, like on Facebook Marketplace, is generally like really high, like even for really super basic things that were really mass produced and common. Just, I don't know, it's weird. It's like now all of a sudden people think anything that's vintage is worth like tons of money, and I don't know, I don't really feel the same way. I don't know if it's just me, but I just feel like some pricing is like out of control lately. But at the same time, my old boss had a saying that he used to say all the time, and he would say, it's worth what someone's willing to pay for it, which I guess I can kind of understand, but I still think lately pricing has been a little outrageous, but that's life, I guess. So then we're looking over here, and then I spotted my like lamp. If you've watched videos before, you probably know I'm kind of obsessed with this. I kind of want to put it like in my kitchen when we renovate. So every time I see it, I think, should I buy this? I didn't buy it, but I don't know. It gives me like so much like the vintage vibe that I love. I forget how much it is, or maybe I haven't looked at the price. If I have looked at the price, I definitely don't remember how much it was, but I feel like I'm not in great danger of someone else buying it, so we'll see. I did really like this lamp, though, with the flowers on it, but again, I don't have any use for it, but it was nice. I didn't get this, but it looks like it's maybe like from the 80s, just judging by the picture, maybe early 90s, I don't know. But there's something about a grilled cheese sandwich, am I wrong, that tastes so much better when it comes out of one of these machines. I think I have one, I just never use it. I don't remember, it has a bunch of different plates, so I'm not sure if it has that plate in it or not, but something about it just tastes so good. Some more vintage Tupperware. This always gives me like childhood vibes because my mom sold Tupperware. I do really like these plates, but I felt like the price was too high for me to resell them and make a decent profit. Like to make it worth it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I was debating it in my head, trying to do some math, but ultimately I just decided to pass on them. That's a good example, though, of what I'm trying to explain, whereas, like, I feel like 2 years ago, I would have seen those for $1 versus $5. And I could be wrong, but I don't even think those ones are that old. But I could be wrong about that. But I still just feel like, I don't know, it just seems high. We had this little like Tupperware vegetable section tray for like veggies and dip when I was growing up. I guess maybe you could have used it for other things, but we always used it for veggies and dip. So anytime I see things from my childhood, it just like brings back all the feels. I actually have that like ambery glass divided one, and so I was considering getting that one, but ultimately I decided I didn't really need it. I thought this vase thing was really pretty. I think this was here before, and I might have shown it before, but again, like I don't really need it, and I didn't know if it would be a good buy to resell. I did really like this shell tray thing. It's so funny. I did end up buying this, but it's really funny because I've had it in my bathroom now, which feels like months and months, but clearly I'm just buying it here. So I do feel like it's been a while since I filmed this, but yeah, I feel like it's been more than a month since I've had that in the bathroom, but it's just weird seeing it on the shelf like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I just recently bought that. So now we're going to the other Salvation Army. This one is my favorite. I think I've mentioned before, but that other one that I was just filming in, the energy in there is so weird. And it happens every single time I'm there. It's like so chaotic, and the staff seems super stressed, and they like frantically move. It's a weird, I can't explain it. And I don't know why. Like they're nice. They're always really nice, but I don't know, it's just a weird, chaotic energy in there every time, and I get anxiety every single time I'm in there, but I don't know. But I do like it there, but it's just a weird energy. But this one, I love this store so much. I definitely find better stuff here. So this is the one with all the teapots in the display case. I don't think they had any like new teapots there from any time before that I filmed, but they definitely had some like little outdoor vibe happening over here with the bird houses and pots and stuff, which I think is cool. They actually did this really early then, because this would have been like end of January, beginning of February, but I guess it's never too early to start dreaming about spring. They always have like a big section of vases, which most of them I felt like were just really plain. I thought these were pretty, but again, I feel like this whole day when I was thrifting, I was just doubting and second guessing like every thought I was having about like, should I buy this to resell? Or, and I think it might also be because I have so much stuff already that I haven't like posted yet to resell. So maybe I'm thinking I don't need to be buying anymore. But they also have a big section of lamps. I really liked I think it's like an octagon style one with the little trim around it. I thought that was cool. They also have a really big section of appliances here, and I did notice that this really old looking toaster oven that I think I end up filming more closely. I don't know, it just gives me like 80s vibes maybe. I actually have a really cool vintage toaster oven though, so I definitely didn't need this, but I did think this would actually fit in my kitchen really well. But I just have like an old Betty Crocker one that I really like that we bought a few years ago. When I opened it up though, it looked like the inside was, I don't know what was going on there, so I don't know. Who knows if it actually even worked or not. I thought this crock pot looked interesting because it's like very big but like not too deep. I don't know if I've ever seen one like that before. It had a cool pattern on it though. So this time I actually didn't look at the records. I just walked by. I have so many now that I feel like if I don't look at them, I won't know what I may have missed. So I just walked on by. This store is pretty big, so it has a big furniture section. I think I've showed it before. And then they just have this book section, which I rarely ever look at books, although sometimes I feel like I should be looking at them, but I didn't really look at them. I was just spying on John. He had no idea that I was there. I ended up taking a really long clip of him, but I didn't include it all in this video before he even noticed that I was there. They did have, sometimes I do scan the cookbook. They just have all the cookbooks on the end here. I did notice one that I thought looked sort of interesting, but I didn't end up getting it because I just have so many that I feel like honestly I should probably stop buying Better Homes and Gardens ones at this point, but whenever I see one I don't have, I just can't resist. So, and then we're back to John, and he still doesn't know that I'm right there filming him, but eventually he noticed. I sometimes quickly scan the board game section because I have a huge vintage board game collection that I just love playing board games so much. I thought this game looked really interesting because to me it kind of looks like Yahtzee, but it's called something different. Although now I'm like, oh, maybe I should have got that one because it doesn't take up that much room. But I didn't end up getting any board games because, again, that's another collection that I just have so many of. I feel like, do I need any more? Probably not. But this cover-up game also looked interesting. It's so hard. But realistically, like, you're probably only going to have enough time to play so many board games, so I don't need an excessive amount, and I already have quite a few. And then right next to it is where they have, like, children's books or, like, I guess teen books. I don't know, but I just noticed that they had a bunch of Nancy Drew books, which I actually had a bunch of these when I was growing up. This like old style that my older like aunt had given to me, and I'm learning French, and I really, once I get better at it and I'm able to like read it, I'm probably gonna start reading like those types of books. So I'm trying to find them in French because I think that would be something cool to read because I'm already familiar with it from reading them when I was growing up. And then, I don't know, I think it would be a good way to practice reading. I thought the legs on this table were so pretty. I don't know, it's just not something you see all the time. And then they just had like a normal table next to it, which looks bad in comparison. They didn't really have any something super cool in terms of vintage furniture. I feel like everybody had this style of furniture, like this set of furniture though, in like the late 80s, early 90s, just maybe in different colors. I feel like there was a lot of pink ones or like dusty rose, and there's a lot of like brown colors as well, but this like exact kind of style was so popular. I didn't end up getting this picture, but now that I'm looking at it in the video, I'm like, oh, I probably could have definitely resold that, but oh well. I guess I was doubting it at the time. I just have a lot of random stuff in these aisles, I feel like, that is usually stays the same, but occasionally I do find a gem mixed in here, so it's always good to look. Although I almost like dropped this casserole dish as I was trying to see what the marking was on the bottom. So I think I used to have this exact one, but I sold it a few years ago. I want to say it's like foreign PYREX. And now that I can see the bottom, I was correct on that. Then we've got some Corningware. I don't know, I feel like I've already shown this and that it was there the last time, but I don't remember. I do really like this pattern, and something tells me I did show this because I think somebody told me the name of that pattern, because I'm not super familiar with that pattern. They had this really cool fondue pot there, which I actually have a really cool fondue pot. I guess I have two now. And I've been wanting to do like vintage fondue recipes so bad. Like for years I've been wanting to do this, but I never get around to it. But I really, really do want to do it. I don't think I've ever had fondue before, and I just think it would be a fun thing. And it's very 70s, which is very my aesthetic. So I think it would just be really fun. I thought these glass dishes were really pretty too. I always see the green one in like multiple different colors. The blue is really nice in that, but I don't really need it, although I was tempted. I kind of liked this brown dish too, but again, I was like, I don't really need this, so I did pass on that. I'm always hoping to find cute glasses. Glasses is something that sells really well for me as well, and I also like them, like personally, but I find that's one thing that's just getting really hard to find, whereas even just a couple years ago, I feel like I would just see such an abundance of them all the time. But I don't know, seems pretty scarce. I'm always trying to find vintage mugs too, and I barely ever see them anymore. Like maybe once or twice a year. That's how scarce they seem to be. And I don't know if it's just my area or just overall vintage items getting scarcer, but it's kind of a bummer. Then we've got the plate area. This is, I feel like, stays the same a lot of the time too. Not too much vintage, but they did have the like stoneware plates. This is the exact pattern that we had when I was a kid. I really like them, but again, I feel like I don't need them. So I usually pass on them. Sometimes I do think about trying to resell them, but they're quite heavy. So I don't know, with shipping, it just doesn't seem worth it. I thought this was really pretty, this set. I don't think it was vintage, but it kind of had that like vintage look to it. So that's what caught my eye. But if I remember correctly, I remember thinking, oh, this isn't actually vintage. I thought this little toll painted little like cutting board decor was really cute. It reminded me of like in the 90s, toll painting was like such a popular thing. I remember my friend's mom did it like all the time, had so many things. I like to look at vintage aprons too, but I haven't actually bought any for a while, but I have quite a collection of them, which I've been thinking about maybe selling some of them. But I didn't see any linens that really caught my eye this time. Well, I did actually see a lot that I thought were pretty, but nothing that like screamed to me, you have to buy me because you can resell me for more money. But yeah. And then I actually forgot about this chair because earlier I had said there wasn't anything like super retro furniture, but when I saw this chair, I was like, oh my god, this is so like 70s. And I noticed these on like the love seat earlier, but these things that you would put like over the arms of the chair, and I just hadn't seen them in such a long time. But and then there was always this piece that went over the back too, and you could see like the difference in the color where this chair was probably like getting sunlight for so many years. I don't know. I actually do like this chair, but I don't have a reason to buy it, but I just thought it was cool. It was a cool color. Don't see furniture this color too much these days. Whenever I see furniture like this though, or just anything vintage really that I really like, I always just hope that it finds a good home with someone who will appreciate it as much as I would. And then they just had some more like modern kind of couches and chairs. So then that's pretty much it for my kind of look around. I did think this was cute, but I don't think it's vintage, or no, I could be wrong about that too. I feel like sometimes you just never know unless you like know specifically the brand or something, but I thought it was cute and I was debating on whether I should pick it up to resell, but ultimately I just decided not to. And then after I got done looking here, I just went over and looked at the VHS, which I ended up finding a whole bunch of VHS on this day. That was just insanely crazy. But I did film that and put it in a separate video. I think it was my very last video. But now I will show you what I did end up buying. So first up, I got this vase, which this actually matches a much larger vase that I bought, I think, last summer. So that's kind of why I was drawn to it. And then it's funny that I mentioned about the pie plates when I was looking through like the walkthrough. I ended up getting this one at the first store we went to, so it was essentially, you could say, free because it just went in the bag with the clothes. But even like there's a big difference. Like I think it was $2.25 at that store. The very first store we went to was like for charity, so things aren't quite as expensive as like some other stores. Although I guess Salvation Army is charity too. I don't know. Anyway, things just seemed a lot more inexpensive at this store we went to first. So I got that, and then I got this little soup bowl, like onion soup bowl. I got this at the first store as well, so it was essentially free because they just all fit in with the clothes. I hope I'm explaining that properly, but what I mean is we would have paid $5 for the bag full of clothing anyway, so the fact that we just had glass pieces in there as well, like it would have been $5 with or without them, so that's why I'm saying it's essentially free. These things were included in the sale, but anyway. Then I also found a couple different creamers. I have sold quite a few of these lately, so I figured those were a pretty safe bet. I picked this up. I actually had seen this the last time I was at the Salvation Army and I didn't pick it up, and then I thought about it later and I thought, oh, I probably could have resold that. I think I ended up looking it up and seeing that some other people were selling them. So that was only $2, I think, so I'm gonna resell that. And then I did find this cooler bag as well, which I just thought was cool because it's like crinkled, like it's almost like a paper bag or something, but it's like metallic. I thought that would be good for when we're like going on road trips or something in the car, which we're actually doing tomorrow. So that will come in handy. And then I think I already mentioned, but I did pick up this like vintage plain kit, toiletry kit, I guess, which I just think is super cool. This might be one of the cooler things I've come across, at least recently. But even like the toothpaste like looks so different. Like if you look at the cap, like it reminds me of the caps on toothpaste when I was a kid. And also like the tube isn't plastic. Like when I was a kid, tubes of toothpaste weren't made from plastic. It was, I guess, like aluminum maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but like when you squeezed it, it would just stay because it wasn't plastic, so it didn't come back into its shape. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think all toothpaste now just comes in a plastic tube, but when I was a kid, it was not like that at all. And then I think I already mentioned, but I did end up getting the little shell dish, and I'm using it in the bathroom now, and it just fits in with my bathroom aesthetic if you watch my bathroom tour. But I'm very happy that I bought that because it's been like very handy in the bathroom. And then we just got these mugs. Tim Hortons is like most of my viewers live in the US, so this is a like coffee chain in Canada. And I don't know if they actually do still use mugs anymore or not. We were talking about it because I haven't been there in like a really long time. I used to go there a lot when I was younger, but we never go there now. So but I just saw those and they were just reminding me of back in the day, I guess. And then I also got this roll of wallpaper that I saw in the first store. I think it was like a couple dollars. Okay, $1.75. I think I'm going to make over my linen closet with it. I don't know, because it's only one roll, so I don't think it would go very far, but I just thought it was cool. And then I also found some really big knitting needles as well, which I'm very excited about. I've been trying to collect like all the sizes of needles at thrift stores, and then I also found some wool as well. It looks very like vintage with the label there. I'm not sure though, but I've been like learning how to knit, so I've been trying to like thrift my supplies. So I found a bunch more of the same brand of wool, just in I keep calling it wool all the time. I mean yarn. I found this in the first thrift store. I can't do this today for some reason. I don't know why or what's wrong with me, but anyway, I found some yarn is what I'm trying to say. I bought some yarn and a pair of knitting needles. Okay. I also found some shelves, which I feel like I buy shelves a lot, and even though I don't even know where I'm going to put them, but they're just so inexpensive at the store. These are the kind that go in corners. So I saw them and I thought, well, I'll just buy them. And so I have a little spot in the basement with a bunch of different sized shelves for when I need a shelf. I've got a little selection that I can choose from that cost me very little money. And then I bought this little sugar bowl to resell as well that I thought was cute. I think I already mentioned, but I have these do semi-well for me, so it was inexpensive enough that I felt like I could probably sell it for some money. And then I got these glasses, 6 of them. They're like a smoke color. I think I'm gonna resell these as well. I haven't posted any of this yet. I think I already mentioned, but these were fairly inexpensive as well. I believe I got these at the first store I went to, so I figured I would go ahead and get them and try to resell them. Same with these 2 glasses. I think I'm gonna resell them. These give me very like 90s vibes, like early 90s maybe. A lot of people had like pink and blue in their kitchen, I feel like, in the early 90s. Or maybe it was just people I knew. And then I found these 4 glasses, and this was all at the first store, I believe, so they were really inexpensive or basically free. So I decided to get these to try and resell as well. I really need to start photographing and posting stuff. I was trying to see if it had like a mark or a brand or something on the bottom, but I couldn't really make anything out. Okay, so that is everything that I bought today. That was my thrift with me. I'm clearly out of practice when recording a voiceover because this is like a hot mess. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I've been really busy lately. I've also been feeling really weird. I don't even know. So I haven't felt so much like filming videos, but I'm hoping that I'm getting over that. So since I already had this filmed, I figured I would go ahead and finally record a voiceover and upload. So anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will be posting more videos soon.